Live now. We'll just
Alright,
give him a couple minutes to get in here
alright.
or so. But well, yeah. So what are you thinking about the XFL so far?
I'm intrigued.
Yep.
The rules really intrigue me. I want to see how these rules play out. I it's, there's a little bit of talent down there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
not NFL caliber talent. I mean, some of it might be, but you know, I'm like I said, I'm just really intrigued. I saw what it was the first time, and of course, their biggest mistake was trying to go head to head with the NFL, and
What's
you're
up,
just
Curtis?
not going to do that, especially as a fledgling league. There we go.
Right.
Um,
Well, I think a lot of it too was that they tried to make it too much like the WWE last time,
yeah,
and like they were using their announcers and all that type of stuff now, and now they kind of realize that that's not the road they want to go down there. Like you're trying to get football fans, not sports entertainment fans. Like
right. And Vince McMahon's not a dumb man by any stretch. I mean, he's very intelligent.
yes,
You don't build the WWE and the WWF the way he built it and not be intelligent.
right. No, I agree. All right, we got quite a few people on now, so
All right.
let's hit the NFL subjects now. All right, we're gonna start out with the coaching changes that happened since Wild Card Weekend started, and we're gonna kind of start out with the Giants hiring Patriots wide receiver coach and special teams coach Joe Judge. What is your opinions on that, Neil?
Well, at first, probably 90% of the fans is like, who? And so I had to go and do some research on the guy because I didn't really do, any reading when he came in. And, found out, like you said, he was the special teams coach for the New England Patriots. Then his last year, he also was a wide receivers coach. Prior to that, he was on two of Alabama's national championship teams as special teams coach. I don't know, and sometimes it's these hires that nobody knows about him that is an absolute home run.
Right.
Some, guys that nobody really ever heard of and just come in and take the league by storm. I'm trying to think of one. McVay, I guess, is in a way because he started off with absolutely nothing.
Right.
We talked about that before, where he was just hanging around Dolphins practice, and they finally, it's like, all right, let's give this guy a shot. So
Yeah, Curtis just said the
I
same
guess,
thing. Yep, McVay.
yeah, I guess the jury's really, you got to be out on that right now. You don't really know because we don't really know a lot about him. But like I said, it's these hirings that you either it's a big swing and a miss or it's a long home run.
Right. Yeah. I know Giants fans are panicking about this hire, and I'm not gonna. Like I said, the guy's never been a head coach before. I didn't really know a lot about who Joe Judge was before this hire, but I don't see how you panic already as a Giants fan. You've never seen what this guy can do, so I don't understand where there's a panic already. It's not like they hired somebody who's already been a head coach that was trash. Like this guy's never been there, but they've seen something in him. Right? My only, I think if I'm a Giants fan, my only concern is that you let go of Shermer too early, and now if this is a huge bust, that looks really bad. But if they let go of Shermer, and they didn't even really try to get Rule, which was the rumor, they didn't even really try to get him. From what I read afterwards was that they were going to hire him regardless if Rule took the Panther job or not. So they got to know something about this guy that really lit a fire under them to go after him. So I was confused, but I know he's very strict. I read that he's really strict on his players. So a lot of those coaches tend to be successful in this league too. I know they're not necessarily player favorites, but they get the job done a lot of times.
Right. I want to touch on what you were saying about the Rule thing. It jogged my memory. I was listening to a radio show, And from their sources, and they had multiple sources they credited, and I can't remember who they are, they were NFL guys. Apparently, when Rule went, he hadn't signed, he verbally agreed to come out with the Panthers. But he's a Eastern Pennsylvania guy. He's a Giants fan. And from their sources, they said that he had contacted Gettleman himself and said, hey, this is what I'm being offered with the Panthers. If, you want to pony up a little more, he said, I'll come over and I'll coach the Giants. And Gettleman basically told him, nah, we're good.
So they must have been confident in Judge then.
Yeah, so Gettleman being Gettleman.
Yeah, we'll see. That's another reason why I'm not confident about this hire either. Like I said, I'm trying not to judge him beforehand because he hasn't done it. But Gettleman liked him, which means I should probably already not like him.
Right.
So, just based on track record. Okay, speaking of Rule, that's the next coach on our list. He obviously signed with the Panthers, which was a huge shock because everything was saying he was going to go to the Giants, right? There were it was almost like a 99% chance he was going to sign with New York before the news broke out. So it was crazy, and yeah, I'm sure, like you said, he contacted Gettleman or whatever, but that was not broke publicly. So, like, everybody in the public figured he was going to the Giants. But I gotta, they signed him for a lot of money, right? Like, I want to know what they see in this guy. Like, I know he just had a good year, right? But his college career record is 47-43, and his record at Baylor is 19-19 at the college level, right? So what is it that is so intriguing about this guy?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember, and
Thanks,
forgive
Jeff.
me for being unprepared, but I'm trying to remember where Rule was before Baylor. Was it Tulsa?
I do not know. I did the research and looked at his Baylor stuff. That's where kind of where I was looking at, like, because that's where, it's what seemed like made the big splash for him. So I didn't really look back past Baylor.
Yeah, I want to say it was Tulsa.
But if he's 47-43 and 19 at 19 total, that means he still only won 4 more games than he lost wherever he went, wherever he was before that.
Right.
So
but to I guess somewhat defend that, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Tulsa is a program. You never really hear about them. And Baylor was actually a really decent program until Art Briles got himself into some serious trouble, and then they kind of went down the tubes for a couple of years. And
okay.
They've had a couple good seasons.
Right. Curtis said he had to rebuild Baylor.
Yeah, because Baylor, their drawers were pretty empty when Briles left. And if I remember right, it seems like some of the football players themselves left too when Briles left. So, and forgive me again if I'm wrong on this. I'm going completely off of memory, but it seems to me that that's what the case was. So, I don't know. You know how I feel about college coaches coming into the NFL. It doesn't matter who you are. It just, more times than not, it doesn't work.
Right.
Because it's an entirely different game. You're dealing with entirely different people. You're not dealing with kids who, you're basically their parent. You're dealing with grown men that are making a lot of money.
Right.
And if they don't like what you're doing, their contract's up, see ya. I don't want to deal with you no more. So, I don't know. That is a lot of money, though, for an unproven a coach who's not proved himself at the NFL level and who was maybe getting things turned around at a average school.
Right. It's just 7 years, $60 million is so much for a college coach. I don't know. I can't believe it. I'm very skeptical at these coach hires this week, but you know, like I said, I'm not a GM. I'm not a GM. I'm not an owner. Maybe they see something that we don't get to see. But regardless of what you see, at least Joe Judge, you've seen stuff in the NFL.
You're right.
Where Rule, you haven't seen anything in the NFL, so you know that makes it even more questionable. Like, just because you're super successful in college does not mean you're going to be in the pros. Ask Nick Saban. I mean, or Steve Spurrier, right? So it's just, you know, like, I get that there are examples of people who have, but I'm just showing like that it doesn't mean anything, right? Like, because you can't judge them based on what they did in college, and that's why I don't understand. Like, I'm more okay with giving coaches out of college coordinator jobs than I am head coaching jobs.
Exactly. And
let them show that they can do something in the NFL that won't completely cripple your team.
Right.
But, you know, again,
show that they at least have the capability, you know, like with Judge. He at least showed that he has the capability of being able to coach a unit of a football team.
Right. At the NFL level.
Yep.
All right. Well, next coach, this was another one that kind of baffles me here. Dallas hired Coach Mike McCarthy, and I kind of want to start this one off because Mike McCarthy going to Dallas is completely, to me, puzzling, because you bring a guy into this team that's never had a top 10 running game, and your key piece to your team is Zeke, right? Who you just realized you didn't make the playoffs because you underused Zeke, right? So let's go hire a coach who's pass happy and can't coach a defense, right? So Dallas had defensive issues, and they had running the ball issues. So you bring a coach that has both of those issues in to replace Jason Garrett. That makes no sense to me, man.
Yeah, when they announced that, I mean, I'm gonna play a little fantasy thing here. It makes me really, really nervous because I have two different leagues with a share of Zeke in each one.
Yeah,
and
it's not good.
I want to deal him up, but I know there's no way anybody's going to give me even close to value on him, so I'm just going to have to cross my fingers and hope and pray that McCarthy somehow realizes that, okay, hey, here's my horse, and I got to ride this one.
Okay, so Jeff is a huge Packers fan, right? So he just commented, and he said in McCarthy's final year in Green Bay, they ranked 32nd in rushing attempts.
Oh, I know. It was all Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my. Dallas, what are you doing? I don't have a problem with McCarthy, right? I believe I told you that I think Cleveland should have hired him, right?
Yeah.
But that's a completely different like team than Dallas is. Like, you literally hired a coach whose weaknesses were your weaknesses. It makes no sense, dude.
You know, and the other side of the coin is, I guess we're going to get to see if Dak is worth what Dak thinks he's worth.
Haven't we already seen that, though? He tried to show us that?
I don't know. You can't really. I mean, McCarthy is, you know, he's all about throwing the ball. He had Aaron Rodgers.
It's definitely true. He could help Dak. I do agree with that. I 100% agree with that. But I don't know how well this is going to sit with Zeke. I mean, he might be happy now because it's like a new coach hasn't played for him yet, but wait till week 4 or 5 when he's not touching the rock.
I don't know. I'm thinking that he might be regretting holding out early and getting that contract ahead of time.
I didn't even think about that, Neil, but I said last year that you don't hold out with 2 years left in your contract, right? This is going to be huge karma. Like, this could be huge karma for Zeke because, like, the unwritten rule in football is you don't hold out with 2 years left in your contract, okay? So, like, he broke that, like, unwritten rule, and now he might get stuck in a situation that does not benefit him at all.
Yeah, you know, he got what he wanted. You know, he pulled the little spoiled brat routine, and mommy and daddy caved, and it might come turn around and bite him in the ass.
I don't feel bad for him. I don't like Zeke. So, Whatever.
No, I kind of do because, like I said, I got 2 shares of him, and
Neil,
he's a major piece in both my teams.
as a former Ohio State player and a current Cowboys player, you are not allowed to like him.
I got to. just like I gotta like Dalvin Cook because I have him on one of my teams.
Dalvin Cook's never done anything to make you want to hate him, though.
Yeah, he's a Viking.
Oh my Lord, the Vikings, yeah, the future Super Bowl champs.
Oh, okay.
But all right, so moving on now.
That dream.
Hey, we'll get there. Hang on. All right.
Well, you've already been there.
The Browns. Just, I meant we'll get to that topic.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now Browns vacancy, right? That's the only big head coaching job open up left.
And it sucks because there's nobody that I want left.
Dude, I tried to tell Gangles that in the chat yesterday. Like, everybody that's left is trash. I like literally told him that. And like, this is I know I'm jumping the gun on the topic, but I didn't really introduce it. But I don't have anything good to say left about the Browns. It's like they make one mistake over the other. First of all, okay, nothing can be worse than Freddie Kitchens, so no matter what, they'll upgrade. But the guys that are left just are not the answer. Like,
I'll just real quick let you know where I'm at with it. With the guys that are left, and you know how much I despise this guy. With the guys that are left, I would rather have Urban Meyer.
ooh.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Like, Gangles was sitting there trying to tell me yesterday that Jim Schwartz is a good head coach. He just had a bad situation in Detroit. It's like, no, he's not head coach material. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach. It wasn't just Detroit. He actually had one year there. He had a hell of a team, and he just blew it. He couldn't manage the team.
Yeah, I read your guys' thread.
It was it's awful. I mean, I guess Urban. I guess because I mean, he has been in the building, so yeah, that's
he
true.
was there last week.
And then I heard he has interviewing Stefanski or whatever. He's terrible. Like, as a Vikings fan, I'm telling you right now, he's terrible. He doesn't even. Our offense looks good, right? But he doesn't really run our offense. Kubiak does. So
I was gonna say, and he doesn't like to run the ball. He wants to throw the ball all the time when he's got a very, very good running back in Dalvin Cook. And, I feel the same way about Nick Chubb. They got a very, Nick Chubb proved he's a top 5 back, or top 3 back, actually. I think he ended up in the top 3 in rushing.
Yeah, that also tells me that a lot more that Kubiak's running the offense because they run the ball a lot in Minnesota, and Stefanski was a pass guy.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like there's no way he's really running the offense. They brought Kubiak in there for a reason. Like, so I mean, he's not a good hire. And then you got Josh McDaniels. Like, no fan really wants him to come coach their team. So for some reason, all the owners want him to. But
I
like,
don't want him because he's going to show up there and then a day later change his mind and go back to New England, just like he did with the Colts.
Okay, so question, as a Browns fan, right, we had no candidates left, right? There are little rumors that Bill Belichick doesn't want to coach in New England anymore. So, by chance, would you take Bill Belichick as a coach?
As a Browns fan, yes, I'd be happy with that. Because, I mean, there's history there. He's been there.
Yeah, he is.
Not under this owner, but he has been. He was a coordinator and a head coach at one time for the Browns. So, there's a little bit of history. I mean, it's been a minute. I think it was, I want to say, early 90s.
And
he was there.
And him and Odell Beckham have a very good relationship.
Yes. And if any coach, I mean, if his hat is going in the ring of the coaches that are out there, I believe that he would be the best candidate to turn Baker Mayfield around.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a system, and Brady's a system quarterback. You watch. Brady's going to go someplace else, and he's not just because of age, but he's going to really stink up the joint.
And then Brady fans are just going to start saying it's because he's old now, right? Like, that's what they're going to say, even though he's clear. This system, I don't know if you watched the game against Tennessee, right?
Yes.
This is actually perfect because we're switching into Wild Card Weekend as our next subject, right? So this is actually perfect segue. Okay, so Tennessee, New England, this weekend. Great game, by the way. Okay, almost all the Wild Card games this weekend were great.
They were outstanding.
Brady, there was a stat one time where he completed like 7 or 8 passes in a row, right? And not a single one of them went further than 3 yards.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, this is why, and I'm gonna get blasted when people watch this because people think I'm like this big Tom Brady hater, which in a part is true, right? But I respect his skills as a quarterback. I still think he's a great quarterback, but he's made better than he is by the system because like it's very hard to not be good in the system that they have, and it's crazy that other people haven't picked up on the system yet.
Well, and for those people who are going to hate on you, I'll let them know this: I'm not a Brady hater because I'm a Michigan fan and I root for all the guys that have gone to Michigan. And I mean, he's at the top. There's just no two ways about it. But I do also believe that it's the system that got him there.
Yep.
I firmly believe that. It's just like it was the system at Michigan that made him as good as he was.
I agree.
And with him, when he was younger, he had a great arm, fantastic arm, accurate, deep. I mean, he could throw a deep ball. And not many guys can throw a ball that Randy Moss had, keeping stride to stay with.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, he's still got a great arm. It's just not accurate.
Yeah.
He can still bomb the ball. It's just 10 yards too far or just doesn't get enough mustard on it. His accuracy's gone. And he showed that a lot in that game.
I mean, the passes he were making, he was some of them passes I could do that myself.
Right. No. Yeah, I agree. I've said that about him for a while now.
I've done that out in the backyard before.
So, what was your reaction to the Titans New England game? Did anything stand out to you? Was anything surprising? Was the outcome what you expected?
Yes, it was. I mean, I knew it was going to be Derrick Henry. It's more Derrick Henry sprinkled on top of some Derrick Henry. I mean, I called that before when we talked about the game last week.
Yep.
It was going to be a heavy Derrick Henry game because it's going to favor him. He's a hammer, and New England's defense is going to be the nail. He's going to keep pounding them until they weaken, and that's what happened. Fourth quarter, he really started applying himself, and that's what he does. Tannehill had a decent game, and I just feel that Derrick Henry makes everybody else around him better for the simple fact that you got to respect him. I mean, he's 240 pounds and runs a 4.4.
Okay.
That's beastly.
Dude,
you gotta gear up the box for that.
I seen his high school stats per game for his senior year of high school, and there he was running for like 400 yards a game, dude.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
He had 4,261 yards and 55 touchdowns. Like, what?
It's ridiculous.
Like, okay, so I want to say in this game, anybody who ends up watching this video, do me a favor, and at some point in time, DM either me or Neil with the answer for this, please, because I want to know if Ryan Tannehill is the pass for the fewest yards out of any winning quarterback in a playoff game. Because he only had 72 passing yards in this game. And to me, like, I expected, just like you did, Neil, like, it was going to be Derrick Henry, the workhorse, right? But I did not expect only 72 passing yards.
Right.
You expect some play action, Derrick Henry running the ball as well as he was really should have set up some play action deep balls to Brown, you would think.
Well, you would think, but, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due. New England's got a good secondary. Stephen Gilmore is a really good corner, and I believe he was shadowing Brown, if I remember right. And a rookie against a seasoned veteran that's one of the tops in the game. That's just not a good matchup for the rookie.
No, I agree.
And, the rest of the receivers they have are really at best average.
Corey Davis has been a letdown. You really thought this was going to be his...
Wow, yeah. Where did he go? He was like wasn't he a top 3 pick? Or top
No,
5 pick?
8.
Okay. I knew he was in the top 10 for sure, but I thought he might have slipped into the top 5 that year. But,
I did not expect A.J. Brown to be the breakout receiver. I really thought it was going to be Corey Davis. I think a lot of people did. So...
I kind of expected A.J. Brown because of what he had done in the conference he'd done it in. Him and DK were teammates at Ole Miss, and when you're at Ole Miss, you're playing LSU, you're playing Alabama, you're playing Mississippi State, which I understand, but they usually have good secondary pieces.
Right.
You're playing the SEC West is your main, and then you can sprinkle in some like Georgia, some of them other teams out of the East, Florida. You're playing NFL competition at the college level. So I knew didn't know, but I had a really good feeling A.J. Brown was going to be a really, really good ball player.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning to shade him. It was more of like it was his rookie year. You know what I mean? So I expected Davis to be more the go-to guy this year. Not that A.J. Brown wasn't going to be good. It was just more of a like this year. It should have been Corey Davis that was going to break out for Tennessee. It was.
Yeah.
He had all the feeling that he was his breakout time. He's played fairly well until this year. So it was just like, okay, now take that step forward and take that number 1 and go with it. And Corey Davis, I forget he plays in the league half the time. And then he'll make a catch out of nowhere once, and then you won't hear him again, right?
And I think, too, that, when his contract is up, they're going to offer him a price that he's not going to want, but it's going to be market value. He'll end up finding out because... I don't know. I just don't see him being with the team, after this contract. So
he may need a fresh start somewhere. I think he's got talent. He's very talented. I watched him play at Western. Very, very talented kid. I hope he's able to break it open somewhere else. But I thought that this game ended perfectly. For people who thought that Tennessee didn't have a chance for the game to end on a pick 6 like that, was almost like rubbing it in the face of everybody who doubted them.
Yeah.
To pick off the quote-unquote GOAT and return it for a touchdown to end the game was kind of like justice,
It was funny because that night was a bunch of us went to out that night and was at the bar watching the game, and one of my girlfriend's friends, her best friend, was there, huge Patriots fan. I mean, absolute, just Patriots everything.
Right.
So before the game started, I pulled an egg bet out of her. And when they did when that pick 6 happened, because New England didn't have any timeouts and they're on their own 2, starting out the drive. Anything can happen. You've seen Brady do it 100 times, and you're still a little nervous. And when that ball hit, I can't remember if it hit the receiver's hands or if the defender busted or broke it up out of the receiver's hands. Either way, when that ball deflected up in the air, I immediately stood up because I knew that thing was going to be picked. There was just too many guys around there for it to not be picked, and then there was no New England players on the screen, so you knew he was going in, whoever got it. But, yeah, so I'm going to be cracking an egg over it.
Awesome. All right, moving on to a different game, Seattle, Philly. This was kind of the one game that I was like 100% sure I knew who the winner of this game was. And then four plays into the game, Clowney dives on Wentz, who's already being brought down, hits him helmet to helmet, and Wentz is out of the game. And at that point, it kind of was like, I can't even believe they held in there and made it a game, because at that point it was like, wow, game over. We're 4 plays in. What's going on, Uncle Courtney? We're 4 plays in, and we've already lost. They're the only player that got the Eagles to where they're at. It was kind of heartbreaking for Philly fans, and now Wentz is getting all the injury prone talk. I want to say something right now. Like, concussions have nothing to do with you being injury prone. So we can throw that right out the window. This is not the same thing as Carson Wentz hurt his knee again, and his bones are fragile. That play would have concussed anybody. So I don't want to hear the whole injury prone thing. You can't use this against him. Like that's something that would have happened to anybody. That wasn't I'm too fragile to play this game type injury. But it really sucked to see a 40-year-old Josh McCown come out and he played actually fairly decently actually for having no weapons. And mad props to Zach Ertz for playing through what he played through. He had like a ruptured spleen or something like that and broken ribs. He should not have been on the field, but mad props to the heart for he gave. Crazy stat about this game, Neil. Did you know that the final score of this game was the exact same final score as the regular season meeting?
No, I didn't know.
17-9, both games.
Huh. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch this game because I had to leave for work Sunday nights, so I had to give me a little bit of shut eye, and so I didn't get to see it down. But I had all my alerts and everything when I woke up and saw that Wentz had went out really early, and of course, that Seattle won the game, but that's a tough deal for Philly. I mean, props for them for even getting there, to be honest.
Yeah, because
all the controversy they had to deal with the injuries all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, the patchwork wide receiver core, they got guys coming off the practice squad, Greg Ward, guys like that coming up playing and actually playing well. Too bad that they didn't draft well enough,
yeah, imagine taking J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
Yeah, or A.J. Brown.
I say DK because it's leading to my next point here, okay, right? DK Metcalf won this game for Seattle. Pretty much single-handedly. He had 160 receiving yards in this game, and Seattle only scored 17 points, so you can go ahead and throw that around if you want to. So, DK had a clutch touchdown where he went deep and he had to extend for the ball, caught it, somersaulted forward, got up as the guy's trying to tackle him, got up right before he touched him. He got his knees off the ground and scored. Right, like that gave them, and then that gave them they extended their lead, and then they have third and 6 or 3rd and 8 or something like that with Philly has one timeout with like a minute 40 on the clock or something like that, right? And you're debating whether you want to run the ball, make Philly use the last timeout, or if you want to try to throw the ball, right? Well, you have Russell Wilson as quarterback, so I think, obviously Pete Carroll's like, well, we're going to give him the chance to win the game. And he doesn't throw like this little dump off. No, he bombs the ball to DK down the field, and DK makes a clutch catch to win the game. And it's like, imagine every Philly fan sitting there thinking, man, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside had 169 receiving yards for the season, and DK just had 160 against us, and we picked him over DK.
Yeah. And, when the draft was going on and, all these draft experts, and I'm using air quotes, were poo-pooing DK because all he could do is run a 9 route. Well, you know what? I saw that guy, and I've seen a couple of his college games, and he, to me, and I'm not real big on, saying, this guy looks like this guy, but man, he looks so much like Calvin Johnson when Calvin Johnson was at Georgia Tech. Just big, fast, jump out of the freaking stadium. But he's got great hands on top of it. And you can learn how to run routes. If you have that much athletic ability and you're gifted like that, learning routes is not a problem.
No, I agree. I was one of those critics too, by the way. I gotta put some egg on my face for that. So, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I had a feeling my gut that this guy is probably going to be something special.
Yeah.
And I think we saw. I didn't see it, but I saw a stat line, and for those who watched it, you saw it unfold. And God help any corner that's got to cover him from here on out.
Yeah, and not to mention he's got Tyler Lockett out there too. So
right,
that's pretty deadly. It was a great pick by Seattle, and he pretty much won the game. It'll be interesting to see what he can do against a better secondary. I'm really looking to see how he does this weekend in the cold against Green Bay. I think he's ready to take that next step. Like, I think last week was kind of like the step forward to being a better receiver. Because he's been an okay receiver, but that's it. Like, okay, he's been okay, right? Like, he hasn't been like phenomenal, right? He's been okay. Last week he was phenomenal. And I think that's what Seattle fans were looking for. He's got a little bit of a fumbling problem. He's got to tuck the ball. Stop fighting for extra yardage all the time, especially when it's like 1 yard. Like, chill. Because that's cost him a couple fumbles this year. He proved something to me in that game, and I just want to see him do it one more time, though. Like, I mean, he doesn't have to get 160 yards. I just want to see him play well in the cold on the road against a good defense like Green Bay, because we all know about Philly's secondary, right? So
yeah, I mean, he's going to probably be. I'm not sure if Alexander shadows, but if he does, I don't be who he's matched up against. And,
you think Alexander's going to cover him and not Lockett?
Yeah, because Alexander's their best corner.
Yeah, but wouldn't their best corner want to cover their best receiver?
Yeah, but at this point, couldn't you say that possibly is DK as well?
I don't know if I'm ready to say he's better than Lockett.
1A1B situation.
Yeah, maybe. I guess maybe they have to look at the matchups or whatever. But I guess I just couldn't see it. I don't know.
Either way, in my opinion, that's going to be a tough road to hoe, because who are you going to put on it? Alexander say is on Lockett. You going to put Holman or Jackson on DK? I mean, they're both 6 foot, but DK, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's,
I just feel like Green Bay's going to have their hands full in that situation, I think.
He's a receiver and a tight end body with receiver speed.
Which is scary. Whenever I have to go again in that situation.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, I guess if it's probably why I'm not a coach in the NFL, but if I were a coach, if I was LaFleur, I would have to put Alexander on DK and hope for the best the other way.
Here's a question for you. Would you possibly just have Alexander not shadow in this game and just cover whoever's on one side of the field? So that he can take turns covering both of those guys?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but, then you got I don't know. That would just be so tough.
It's such a hard decision. Like, LaFleur's got a tough...
It would. I mean, I would imagine LaFleur's probably losing sleep over it. Because, you cover a guy that's just lightning quick and, has just insane leaping ability in Lockett, or do you cover a monster like DK with your best corner?
Not to mention insane chemistry with Russell, too, because if you've seen the stats from Russell Wilson to Tyler Lockett, it's absolutely insane. Damn near perfect quarterback rating, and they've been doing this for like 2 years now. So, this is awful.
Oh, and I forgot, they also got that Kevin King, and he's a big guy.
Yeah, King's pretty good too.
They might put him on DK because he's like 6'3", 210, somewhere in that neighborhood, and he's a big boy.
He does get burned a little bit though, so that they're gonna have to worry about that. But we'll get more back to that game later. We kind of trailed off to their future opponents, but let's talk about Buffalo Houston. This game went from like snooze fest domination to like a really good game really fast. It was.
You can't ever count Deshaun Watson on. I had a feeling it was going to be a good game from the get-go. I'm just glad I called the right side of the winner and loser.
Yeah, you did.
But that was Deshaun was just, he's a baller, and got to figure Kenny Stills is an okay receiver, but I don't know, man. It's just, that was a hell of a game. It really was.
Yeah, like I said, the whole first half was boring.
Yeah.
Right? It was like 16-0 Buffalo. Houston hadn't done nothing. DeAndre Hopkins had no catches. I think Watson had like 52 total yards at halftime. That's rushing and passing. Like it was like, wow. Like, Buffalo came to play. And then the whole second half, like, not to discredit Buffalo because they still played their hearts out in the second half, but it was just like almost a whole new ball game. Like, the second half was exciting. Like, it was like Houston took complete momentum, and then like just when you think Houston's like, the Buffalo can't do anything, Houston's gonna put them out, then Buffalo punched back. You know what I mean? It was like, oh man, this game was something else. And that in overtime, that sack escape. That sack escape that Watson had in overtime, that was crazy. That won them the game, and that was absolutely insane.
Yep.
And he's kind of lucky that two guys tried to hit him at once, because when he got swung around by the one guy, he bounced off the other guy.
Right.
And that kept him on his feet.
Definitely helped you.
I think it was just one of those really bad coincidences for Buffalo. Both guys were in the right spot.
Yep. They did what they were supposed to do. They just, unfortunately, the one hit him and the other one helped him keep his feet.
Yeah, it was crazy. Both defenses played fairly well. The turning point of that game was the sack by J.J. Watt. That shifted the entire momentum of that game. Yeah. And like, I remember somebody posting on the NFL Longest Yard group page, why is J.J. Watt celebrating after a sack? You're down 16-0. And I'm like, you just wait, dude. I knew the moment that stadium got, like, he got that sack, he celebrated. The whole stadium got up on their feet. And I'm all like, this is the moment. Like,
buckle your chin
right.
straps.
Buckle up now. New game.
You're going for a ride.
They lifted the whole team, man.
Yep.
Had J.J. Watt not played, I really believe Houston wouldn't have won. That sack really did that much for them.
Yeah, had J.J. Watt not played, I would have been taking Buffalo in that game.
So that was the deciding factor for you, was Watt?
Yeah, Watt and being at home.
Right. Yeah, I feel bad for Buffalo. They lost a hard fought game. But I think this team's going to be good for a long time. So I think they have a bright future. So
they got a very young team, and McDermott's got them going definitely in the right direction. The Buffalo fans have nothing to hang their head about. They lost a hell of a game to a really good team on the road.
Yep.
And they gave that team everything they wanted.
I agree.
From last year to this year, you can see the growth of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, he's only going to get better.
Yeah, he's still going to
grow in the passing game.
Yeah, because he's still not great, but he's leaped. He's progressed significantly, because last year he was awful. So, like, he's significantly leaped, and I think he's going to do it again. Like, he's already makes good decisions as a quarterback for the most part. He made some mistakes in the playoff game, but I think that's because he's never really been in that pressure before, right? So,
right.
That's a learning experience for a second-year quarterback.
The one thing I would like to see from him, though, is see him get down more when he runs, because he still takes the hits. I know he's a big kid, but
eventually it's going to wear on you.
Those are big guys that are hitting you, too, and something eventually is going to give way somewhere down the road. So he needs to start getting down.
Yeah.
Quit taking that big shot and getting an extra 2 yards.
Yeah, I agree. And then the one pass that he made, I think, late in the game, where he, like, bombed it across the field to a fullback.
Oh, yeah.
That was double covered. It was like, what a dude!
And didn't he have a receiver was open in the middle?
He did.
I believe, yeah.
He had like tunnel vision, and I'm like, dude, the fullback, I would have tucked it and just ran it if I didn't see the other receiver. I'm not throwing a double covered fullback a deep ball.
Right. Yeah, it was McKenzie was running across the middle of the field, and there wasn't a guy within 5 yards of him.
And to be fair to him, sometimes you don't see that stuff, but
right.
You know, it's hard. It's hard.
I'm sure he saw it. When he got to the sideline and they pulled the iPad out, I'm sure he saw it then, and he's probably kicking himself for it. But
I agree.
It's a growing experience.
Yeah, what a game it was, though. It was a hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The last wild card game, and the one that just has me jumping through the roof, was the Vikings Saints game. That was also a hell of a game. That game was fun from start to finish.
We really got to do this.
Sorry. We do. We do. Nobody gave us a shot, bro.
I'm just messing with you.
Nobody. Everybody. They said, Bleacher Report said 95% of playoff brackets that were submitted to them had the Saints winning that game. 95%.
They were at home. I mean, that was the deciding factor for me. I didn't think there was any way they were going to lose at Mercedes-Benz Field.
Yeah, I think that motivated the Vikings, though. They knew that nobody gave them a shot. I know Zimmer knew because he said it in a press conference. He said, look, nobody's giving us a shot to win this game, and he pointed out that the NFL didn't even put them in their playoff video. Right? Which is, like Gangle said, it's just completely disrespectful. Every team that makes the playoffs should be in that video.
Right.
Whether you think they're going to win against their team or not, they need to be put in the video. Anything can happen. Now you guys look like idiots. Because you featured the Saints in there heavily, and the team you didn't put in there beat them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
About this game. What has happened to Alvin Kamara?
I don't know. I was asking myself that a couple weeks ago, but then he something lit under him the last couple weeks of the season, and he really played well, and then again, he didn't do anything in this game. So
even the last couple weeks, he still wasn't what he was.
No, but he still fired. He was playing better though, which was
he's been playing better. But I'm just saying,
he's
not.
Maybe he's not 100%. Because he was hurt, right?
I'm leaning towards.
And I wouldn't put it past the Saints to not list him on the injury report if he was hurt. I know that's against the rules, but let's not act like the Saints haven't done shady shit as an organization. So I wouldn't put it past them that they were just trying to milk and say he was healthy.
Right.
He wasn't the same. He hasn't been the same almost all year. But he got hurt pretty early in the season, and it wasn't. He wasn't the same after that.
I didn't mean to get you off track, but that was just a question that been eating at me since I watched that game.
But I do want to give myself a little brownie points because I'm pretty sure that I told you last week I was not worried about Xavier Rhodes being a liability in this game. That if there was any playoff matchup that favored him, it was this one, and he proved it. So I'm pretty happy with myself there because that's pretty ballsy of me to say with how bad he's played all year. And he really shut down Michael Thomas.
Don't break your arm, pat yourself in the back.
You just don't want to talk about this game with me. I gotta say also that having Dalvin Cook back for the Vikings was huge.
That was
because you could not put the pressure on Cousins because you were afraid he was gonna hurt you with Cook, right? And it makes a world of a difference for this offense, him being there. And then welcome back Adam Thielen, because this is the first game where he looked like he was 100%. And he tore up that Saints secondary.
Yeah, didn't I see an alert earlier, was it today or yesterday, that he might not play?
No, he'll play. He got stitches in his ankle. It's a playoff game. He said on Good Morning Football this morning that he's going to do everything he can to play, and he expects to be out there. It's the playoffs, he said. So, to me, that sounds like no matter what, he's going to go out there. They're just stitches. It's not like he, like, twisted his ankle or anything like that. Like, he'll be all right to go. I was more worried about Diggs being out because he hadn't practiced all week because he had the flu. But he finally practiced today too. And the Saints has had an issue now that Thielen was healthy, right? They had to choose whether they were going to double cover Diggs in this game or they were going to double cover Thielen. And they doubled Diggs, and Thielen tore him up.
Right.
It was... And I want to get at something, too. I don't know if you've heard the rumblings, and especially on like the longest yard page and stuff like that, too, about the Saints should get rid of Breeze and start Taysom Hill. I want to say that's the most laughable thing I've ever heard.
Where did I see that? I want to say it was on 97 won the ticket. I heard it. They were talking about it, and I know you don't like him, but Mike Valenti said the same thing. He just laughed. He said that this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It is. Why? Because
Taysom Hill is a great spot player.
Right.
He said he is not going to be a great full-time quarterback.
These Saints fans were like, he had our biggest pass of the game. Okay, Neil, I know you've seen that play, right? That Taysom threw the 50-yarder, right? That guy was so wide open, and Taysom Hill almost got picked off by Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, he underthrew him by a long shot. He actually had to stop.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, he was, just backstepping.
Yeah, if Rhodes wasn't so damn slow, that pass would have been intercepted.
Yeah.
Like, that was everything you had to, like, I don't know how they don't see that, right? Okay, and Breeze did play bad, but I think the Vikings put a lot of pressure on him in that game. And, he's not very mobile. If the line ain't going to block, it's pretty hard to be successful, right? Like, that's how it is. You're going to tell me you want to bench a guy who played, I know technically 11, right? But basically 10 because he only played one drive of one of them. Basically 10 games and threw 27 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Really? Like, he would have thrown 40-some touchdowns this year and would have led the league in touchdown passes if he played the whole year.
Right.
I think this is absolutely disrespectful that this conversation even has to happen.
Yeah, it was, but give credit where credit's due. Taysom Hill had a hell of a game.
Oh, he did. As an athlete, he's a great athlete, right? I mean, he running that ball. Oh, we couldn't tackle him. He was breaking tackles left and right, and it was just like, I was so nervous. Like, Taysom Hill took off down that sideline right before the Breeze fumble, right? He took off down that sideline. He broke like 4 Vikings tackles, and I was like, we're only up by 3 with like 4 minutes to go, and I'm like, this is it. This is where we lose it. Like, I was all sweating, dude. I was shaking.
I forgot who was calling the game, but they hit the nail right on the head. And I'm going to get off subject for just a quick second, but they said that's what Tim Tebow could have been, was Taysom Hill.
Yeah, it was Buck and Aikman, by the way, calling the game, but
was it? Okay, yeah, it must have been Aikman that said that.
I think so.
I don't think Buck's smart enough.
Yeah, it was Buck. It was Buck and Aikman because Collinsworth and Michaels called the Eagles Seahawks game, so it was Buck and Aikman that called that game, which is weird because you just said they made a good point, which they never make good points. So, but I do agree with that. I actually agree with that.
It's pretty sad when Aikman's the brains of the operation.
Yeah, it is. Joe. Oh my God, I don't even want to get started on Joe Buck. Right, so, but to be fair to him now, at least I don't think he's the worst sports announcer anymore.
No, that Booger's got that hands down.
It's Booger for sure.
It is Booger all day.
But yeah, it was. Actually, let's get to the end of this game too. Controversial finishes, you know. So I just want to know. Do Saints fans just need to shut up now? Because like this is just becoming an every year thing for them.
But you can kind of look at it from, put yourself in both sets of shoes. I mean, as a neutral fan, I agree to the officials. I didn't think it was enough to warrant a flag. It was definitely a push. I mean,
But before
you gotta
that,
admit that.
the defender was holding Rudolph's arms down.
Right.
So
And that's what
both guys had contact, and that's what the
That's what I
official. That's what Riveron said after the game. Both guys had contact. They let it go.
That's what I was about to get to. But I mean, I can see both sides of it too, because I mean, the one against the Rams last year was absolutely egregious.
Oh,
Sorry,
absolutely,
but
absolutely.
it is what it is. I call it the way I see it. Absolutely egregious. I mean, there was no way Stevie Wonder and his dog could have called that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can see where they're coming from, because they were robbed last year. They should have been in it last year, and probably would have, in my opinion, beaten the Patriots.
I think they would have beaten the Patriots. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You don't got to deal with it and move on.
Yeah.
And
It's heartbreaking.
That's what Saints fans need to do. They just, no amount. If you couldn't get what happened last year remedied, you're not getting this fixed.
Right. That's
So
right.
just, let it go.
But it's heartbreaking for Saints fans. 3 years in a row they lose on the final play.
Yep.
Like it's hard. I mean, I feel for them. It's hard because you get the Minneapolis Miracle, you get the no call, and now you get the push off, right? So it's like, it's hard.
I prefer call a hand battling. I mean, that's what they were doing.
Right. I'm just the push off because that's what they're calling it, right? So
Yeah. Right.
because you know how fans are, they never want to admit that their guy had a hold of Rudolph first, right? So.
Right.
But that's exactly what happened. And I'm not being biased with that either. That's 100% literally what happened. As a Vikings fan, I'll tell you, Rudolph pushed off. I said it right after it happened. I said he pushed off. I was nervous they were gonna review it because I didn't realize he had Rudolph's arms first because the camera panned over right when the ball was almost there, so you didn't really see that live, right? So
live, I thought it was a big push off.
Yeah, so did I.
And then when they showed the replay, I was like, all right, well, he had a hold first.
Yeah,
so.
and I did not want them to, I if they reversed it, we're gonna kick a field goal, and I don't want Drew Brees to have the ball in overtime.
Right.
Like I was sweating bullets, and all of a sudden, final went across the bottom, and I lost it. I was like, oh my, no way! This stuff doesn't happen to me. Every team I cheer for sucks. This never happens. This is crazy.
Right.
It was probably one of the best sports outside of the Minneapolis Miracle. Was probably one of the best sports moments of my life. So I mean I gotta say that I watched my Lakers win a championship, but I was like 16, and I had just started getting into basketball, so it wasn't as big to me then. But so outside of that though, every team I root for has been trash. So.
Yeah.
It's a little sigh of relief.
Football-wise, the only thing I got to hang on to is, when Michigan ended up being co-national champions in '97.
Yeah.
I don't have another football.
By the way, co-champions should never happen, by the way.
Well, that happened actually quite a bit back in them days.
I know.
You had the AP and the UPI.
Yeah, which was just stupid, though. It should have never happened. And, they should have never allowed that, but... Conversation for a different day.
Right.
Okay, so divisional preview for this weekend. First game, we got the Vikings traveling to San Francisco. Give me a little bit of your take on that game.
Oh, I hate to sound. I'm going to sound like a hater, but San Francisco's they got everybody back, and I just think they just got too much. I really, really do. I mean, Vikings have got a really good team. I'm not taking nothing away from them. But I think San Francisco is just a little bit, the next level better. And it's in San Francisco. The only question mark I have with San Francisco is Jimmy G. And to this point, like Kirk Cousins, he's proven me wrong. Because we've never seen Jimmy G this far into the playoffs.
Right. Well, he's never seen the playoffs at all. This will be as a starter.
Well, right. So, but because I just don't know. I mean, is that Minnesota offensive line going to be able to hold up to the San Francisco D front? I don't think so. I think there's just too much up there, and it's just too much for them to handle. I mean, you double Bosa, and you got D Ford, and his name's escaping me in the middle.
Oh shit.
Number 97.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't. Oh, I wish Kim was on here right now. She would know.
I know. Oh man, is it DeForest Buckner?
Buckner.
I think so. But I mean, they are so loaded up front. It's ridiculous, and that makes me nervous for Minnesota right there, because not only are they great with pass rush, but they're also really good at stopping the run.
Wait, who's good at stopping the run? San Francisco?
Their D front plays the run just as well as they play the pass. They're fast, they're active.
Yeah, but what about
can't block.
They're 23rd in the league in yards per carry given up.
It just seems like every time I've seen a game, they just, man, if I don't know what I'm trying to say here, I guess. Just games I've watched, it just seems like that D front is so active, and it's so hard for a running back to even get to the line of scrimmage without having to fight to get there.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. No. I get you. Makes sense.
After the D front, the linebackers are a little questionable, but Richard Sherman's playing out of his mind for his age.
He can't cover Diggs.
Yeah.
He's not fast enough anymore.
People didn't think that he could cover a lot of guys that he's covered this year.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Shanahan's going to figure this out. If they're smart, they're going to put Sherman with Thielen.
Yeah.
Thielen's not nearly as fast. Sherman it'll be a way better matchup for Sherman.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's going to be. I think it's going to be It's going to be a great game to watch. It's one I'm definitely looking forward to watching. Hopefully they don't have it on. Is this a Saturday or Sunday game?
I'm going in order. This is the first game.
Okay. So yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm excited to watch this one. Probably the most of all of them, just because I think it's going to be an absolute slobber knocker.
Right.
But I'm going to take San Francisco to win this one in a tight one.
Yeah. Obviously, you know who I'm going to take in this game.
Homer.
Yep. I mean, when you make your picks, that tends to be what you do. So I won't be, again, it's just another game, just like I said last week, where I'm not going to be shocked if San Francisco wins. And now that the Vikings have beaten the Saints, I'm not disappointed anymore because they've exceeded expectations already, because nobody thought they were going to beat them. So, right? So I won't be as disappointed if they lose. But I do think they match up very well with San Francisco. I think this game is going to be a dogfight. This is out of the three teams that are left in the NFC outside of Minnesota, this is the team I would rather face than any of the other three. We get to play in warm weather, and we get to play against an unproven quarterback. Those two things make me happy, right? Not saying we're gonna win, but those are at least little advantages that could possibly go our way. Cold weather sucks to play in. Nobody wants to go, right? So you don't want to go to Green Bay. So I'm just happy that we're here. They give up a lot running. There was some weird statistic or something. We're running the ball. They don't give up a lot of running yards, but yards per carry they do. So it's almost like they prevent teams from running the ball.
Right.
Maybe it's because the offense has been so explosive with their running game that they get out to huge leads, so teams can't run the ball. But the Vikings need to stick to running the football, and it doesn't need to be all Delvin Cook because Alexander Mattison is a beast. They need to run it as much as they can on this team, and they need to keep the pace slow. Don't try to go out there and have a shootout with the 49ers, because ask the Saints, it didn't go very well.
Yeah, pass.
No. So they need to run it. They need to go set up play action, roll Kirk Cousins out. That's where he's been successful. Get Thielen and Diggs involved early on little short play action stuff there, and then continue to run. That's got to be the recipe for this for the win this week. The key on defense, Vikings got to get after Garoppolo early, just like the 49ers got to get after Cousins early. Because here, the weakness for Cousins, like he's played very well this year, right? The weakness that he still got is if you hit him early, he gets like scared a little bit and starts checking the ball down all over the place, right? He gets rattled.
Happy feet.
Yep. If you don't get to him till late, he's already confident, right? Like, okay, you hit me once, but they've protected me good all the time. So you need to get to him early so he doesn't have confidence in the offensive line.
Right.
And once you do that, he'll check the ball down all day, which is not always a win because you got Delvin Cook there, but it makes it a little easier when you know the ball's not going down the field.
Right.
So
and you're completely right with that. They're going to have to move the pocket because if you keep a stationary pocket against this front four, man, you're just asking for trouble.
yeah, he's got to go rollouts, play action rollouts. He can't stand there. Besides, on play action passes, I think he's like one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the league, and quarterback rating on play action throws. So a lot of that, obviously, the success Dalvin Cook has, right? Because teams bite on the play action because he's so good.
Right.
They need to keep that recipe going this weekend. This is going to be a tight game, and the first team to make a mistake is probably going to lose. Can't turn the ball over. We fumbled the ball in the opening drive against the Saints last week, and I thought we were done. Like it was the first quarter, obviously 13 minutes to go in the first quarter, and I was like, nope, pack it up.
Well, and that's just being a fan. I mean, I've been, again, I can't relate football-wise, but, going to other sports, like when the Red Wings were doing their thing back in the late 90s, and they give up the first goal in a Stanley Cup playoff, and I was like, oh, here we go. We're gonna get blown out.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to not feel that way.
right, it is very hard.
So
Because you're waiting for everything bad that can possibly happen to happen.
yeah. Absolutely. I was like, oh my, this is the way we're going to start this game. But
It's definitely not a way you want to start in somebody else's building.
here's a weird stat, though, that I've seen, right? The last 3 playoff teams to fumble the ball on their opening drive of the playoffs have won the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes. It was Seattle in 2013, the Ravens in 2012, and I don't remember who the third team was, but there was a third team there. Well, they were the last 3 teams to do it, and they all won the Super Bowl. So, I'm not superstitious. I used to not be, but today I am now superstitious. It's a good omen. All right, moving on to the next game. Tennessee going into Baltimore. Do you see any shot Tennessee can beat Baltimore?
Personally, if I'm, his name's escaping me. I want to say it's Winkleman, but the D coordinator for Baltimore, if he's smart, he is going to make Tannehill beat him. If Tennessee wins this game and Tannehill is the reason, then you got nothing to be ashamed of because you cannot let Derrick Henry beat you in this game.
Right, I agree. I 100% agree.
You got to shut him down. And it's been done before. And they need to control the tempo of the game. Baltimore needs to get up quick to take Derrick Henry away because Derrick Henry's not. He has caught balls before, but he is not a pass catching back. That's not his forte. He needs to take it between the tackles and do his thing and let his size and strength wear on the defense and wear them down. So Baltimore's going to win this game. That's what they got to do. They got to make Tannehill beat them. they got to make their rookie receiver beat their veteran corners.
Yep.
And that's really, I mean, you think about it, you know, unless Corey Davis decides to show up for this game, that's really all Tennessee's got.
Yeah, no argument there. So,
I mean, sorry, Stefan, but it's how I see it. You know, you guys have gotten where you got. Tannehill has been great, absolutely fantastic since he's taken over from Mariota. But if you go back and look, A.J. Brown's also been great in that same period of time.
might be correlated.
Yeah, so I think that's got to be the recipe. Is they got to put a wall up, make sure Derrick Henry stays behind it.
Yep, I agree. I think there is a chance Tennessee can win, but it's going to be only if Derrick Henry shows up like he did against New England. Because the only way you're going to beat Lamar Jackson is slowing the game down. Keep him on the bench. Right? That's what you want to do. Pound Derrick Henry early, often, all damn day. I seen a meme on Facebook last week after they beat the Patriots. It was Tennessee's playbook, right? It was Madden playbook, halfback dive. Halfback dive.
Yep.
Run it.
That was my favorite play growing up. Back in the old systems, halfback dive.
Yeah, I mean, it's great now in the Madden currently. It works, and it works in real life for the Titans, so they need to continue to go with it. Halfback dive. Don't get fancy, no tosses. No, that's not Derrick Henry's game. Dive. All day.
I also seen, I don't know if you saw it or not, the other meme was, I'm going to tell my kids this is Derrick Henry, and it was Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk running down the field carrying a Bears player.
That's a good one. I did not see that one, actually. That's a good one. Baltimore's, obviously, their key to victory is obviously Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar's, despite what he's done this year, he's got something to prove in this game. He has statistically one of the worst starts ever, postseason starts ever for a quarterback. In his only postseason start last year against the Chargers. It was awful.
Right.
He had like 12 yards after 3 quarters. And he's a much different player now. He's a much better player now, right? But it's still that, you know what I mean? It's still that atmosphere, right, that he's in. He's in that, he's got to win a game here, right? Just like Cousins had to last week, right? He's got to do the same thing. For anybody to completely, I understand Baltimore fans are head over heels for him, right? For people outside of Baltimore to prove to everybody, if you win a playoff game, nobody's ever going to doubt anything about you anymore, right? That's the last thing you got to prove. You've done everything else. Now win here. Don't get too comfortable and cute because of the 6th seed. Don't do that. Don't take teams lightly here, okay? Like, don't.
And I feel that Harbaugh is good enough coach to make sure that is instilled in the minds of every player on that team.
No, I'm sure he's telling them that right now. Don't sleep on them because they're the 6th seed. Don't.
Right.
Too many 6th seeds have gone to Super Bowls. Don't do it.
Yep. And the thing too, Lamar Jackson didn't have the weapons last year that he has this year. He's got a receiver that's an absolute burner. He's got, in my opinion, a better running back who's a home run hitter in Ingram over Gus Edwards.
Ingram's hurt though. I mean, he's gonna play, but he's hurt.
I know he's hurt, but I saw a tweet that he said he's gonna play. So
I guess those split carries.
It's just the threat of him being back there because you know that he's dangerous. I mean, he's a bowling ball with feet, and Lamar Jackson is the engine that drives this offense, and Mark Ingram is the transmission.
Yep.
You got to have them both because without both of them, I don't think it works as well.
If I'm Tennessee, if I want to win this game, this may open up a few passing opportunities for the Ravens, right? But you need to take a linebacker and completely spy him the entire game.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I don't care how if it opens. Make Lamar beat you with his arm.
And it's got to be your most athletic linebacker.
Yeah. Not the guy who's considered the best on the team, the most athletic guy, okay? You can have a better player than the athlete, right? But the athlete still needs to spy Lamar, or you're going to get burnt.
I wouldn't be shocked, and I've seen it happen before I wouldn't be shocked if on passing downs they bring a safety in to play linebacker as a spy.
No, yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Yeah, on like third and longs and stuff. Yeah,
I've seen teams do it before.
Yeah, like I said, it may open up. It may open up a couple passing opportunities for the Ravens, but that's the chance you got to take. Like if you're gonna lose this game, make Lamar beat you in the air.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make him beat you with his arm, not his feet.
Right, because everybody knows, even though he's a better passer than he was last year, right? He's still not the most accurate thrower.
Right.
So if you can hold him and not let him run around, so his receivers got 40 seconds to get open, like just keep him in the pocket and make him throw the ball.
Yep.
So if he can beat you with his arm, they deserve the win. Period. But and you can accept that because you didn't allow their strengths to beat you. So, that's what you got to do. And I'm pretty sure Vrabel knows that. He's a smart coach. He proved that last week with one of the smartest things I've ever seen done in a game before. With the purposely getting penalties to keep the game clock running.
Oh, yeah.
Belichick was livid, by the way. I was laughing.
He can't be too livid because,
he did it first.
Same thing in the same situation.
He did it first, right. He didn't like that somebody used his own stuff against him. I've never seen him that mad, dude. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna take Baltimore in this game though, regardless, because I just think that they're just a better team. I got a lower scoring game, like 19-13 around there. That's what I think it's gonna be. So I got Baltimore here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Baltimore, and I too think it's gonna be low scoring. I got 20-14 in this one.
Right. Okay, then we go to Sunday's games. Houston going to Kansas City in a rematch from earlier in the season where Houston beat Kansas City. What are your thoughts on this game?
I don't think Houston's going to do it this time. Kansas City's had some time to get some of their injuries mended up. It looks like Damian Williams is going to be ready to roll. From what I've been getting off of Twitter and stuff. I think I haven't seen anything to suggest this or verify it, but just from watching, I think Tyreek Hill played a lot of the end of the regular season hurt. I just, from his game, the way he is playing, he didn't seem as explosive as he was or has been in the past. My only question is this time off going to be harmful to what Kansas City was starting to do on defense?
Yeah, because they played a lot better.
They actually had a pretty good defense. The last,
8 weeks.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I know it was the last 4 or 5 weeks for sure.
It started in the Minnesota game when they played my Vikings. That was the first time, because I remember being so embarrassed that they shut down Dalvin Cook. It's like, this defense shut you down? Like, what? And then after that, it was just they continued from there on out.
But, and then you got, on the other side of the coin is you've got Deshaun Watson. You never know what he's going to pull a rabbit out of his hat at some point in the game. He does every single game, it seems like.
Right.
Just like, with the Buffalo game when he had the 2 Buffalo linemen back there and they jostled him around, he managed to keep his feet and make a big play out of it. So, but I just, being in Arrowhead, one of the most difficult stadiums to play in.
So loud.
I don't see Houston being able to pull this one off. And I'm going to take Kansas City on this one. And I actually think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring game. I'm going to take 31. My voice is going. 31-27.
Okay. Yeah, Houston just got a big emotional win last week, and they got like a trend of letting everyone down right after big emotional wins. So I think Kansas City's way more athletic team than them. They're a faster team than them. Their defense is much better than when they played them in the regular season. They're much healthier than when they used to play them in the regular season. And I think Houston's going to come out and lay an egg because for some reason Bill O'Brien lets them do that. They win a big game they shouldn't have won. It's emotional. They were down 16-0. They came back. Then they just lay eggs the week after. I don't know why, or that's what happened. So I don't expect anything different here. So I'm taking Kansas City actually pretty large, 38-17 here. Mahomes is too good. That place is going to be crazy. And just one coach is way superior to the other one. And I don't think anyone's going to really disagree with me on that.
No, I don't.
So...
and the beauty of it is we don't have any Houston fans to give us backlash for it.
It's true. We don't. And they would be pretty dumb even if they did because Bill O'Brien, honestly, I think holds that team back.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think they need to get a new head coach. And I think had they lost, I really think had they lost last week, he would have lost his job. He would have been. There's always that one surprise fire every year, and I think it would have been him. Houston could, they can't do anything in the playoffs no matter when they get there, right? Like, he might have saved his job for one more year after that. But if they can't come out and be like an actual contender again next year, he's not going to be there. Because I don't view them still. I know they won and they're in the divisional round. I don't view them as a contender. Hence why I'm picking a blowout this weekend in this game.
Well, I mean, for me, looking, as a non-fan to the team, what keeps that team going to the playoffs is, just a few key players, J.J. Watt, Hopkins,
Watson,
and Deshaun. And without any one of them, they wouldn't be nearly the team they are. That team has got so many holes right now. It's actually a surprise that they're as good as they are, to be honest. The defense is very porous. They've lost so many pieces over the last few years through trades, free agency, suspensions, and the Brian Cushing thing. Brian Cushing was actually a really good linebacker. And he just kind of roided himself out of the league.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of holes to fill in the off season, and I don't see how they're going to be able to do it all.
Yeah, me neither. Especially with their division getting better, they need to kind of step on it too. Because the Colts are one piece away from being great too, and Tennessee obviously I don't think they're going away anytime soon. So
no,
they need to figure out a way to get that team to contender status quickly. Don't waste Deshaun Watson's career.
Right.
Okay, the final game of the weekend. Gonna be Seattle at Green Bay. We're gonna get the great Joe Buck, Troy Aikman about to call this game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to watch this one either.
Wait, what? Why?
This is a late game, right?
Yeah.
On Sunday?
Yeah, 6:40 Eastern.
I'm gonna be getting my beauty rest. I need lots of that.
Sleep is for the weak, Neil.
What's that?
Sleep is for the weak.
Yeah, well, tell that to the DOT when I'm driving down the road, weaving all over the place because I can't stay awake.
Dude, you just gotta tell him, look, the NFL playoffs were on.
Right.
Do you blame me? Well, it sucks that you're not gonna get to see it, but I'm sure you still know enough to go over it. So,
You want me to start on my
go ahead.
thoughts? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. Green Bay is very tough at home. Everybody knows that. Lambeau's got this mystique about it. But for some reason, Seattle just seems to give them a dogfight every single time. It seems like it always comes down to the last play of the game. Whoever has the ball last, either, I guess I'm just trying to go back in the playoff history in my mind, all the last plays that were successful for Green Bay or unsuccessful for Seattle. You know, whether and through controversy on top of it. And it always seems like when these two teams get together in the playoffs, there is a controversy.
You remember throwback to Matt Hasselbeck in overtime. We want the ball. We're going to score. Then he throws a pick six. Yeah.
Right. I can't remember the corner's name. It was the Green Bay corner who just molested Golden Tate in the end zone.
Oh, that wasn't a playoff game.
That wasn't?
No, it was regular season. That was with the scab refs, remember?
Oh, right.
Monday Night Football.
Right. But I guess it just seems like every time these two teams get together.
Yeah, the Hail Mary. And then you have
controversy brewing.
Then you had the onside kick recovery that Bostic dropped right in his hands.
Yep.
And Seattle went on to go to the New England Seattle Super Bowl because of that play.
Yep.
I mean, it is. But here, Seattle is 0-8 in their last 8 games at Lambeau, though.
Well, Seattle, I mean, their offense has come alive. And, you know, Lynch has got another week where he's getting more. Man, my voice is going here real quick. And I'm scrambling to trying to find words. Lynch is going to be more prepared to play an NFL game this week than he was last week for obvious reasons.
Right.
He's going to be more in shape. You know, I'm just going to make this quick. I'm not going to do much analysis on it, but I'm going to call an upset in this one. I'm going to do you a favor. Green Bay's going to get knocked out of the playoffs this week because Seattle is due for a win in Green Bay, and I just think that offense is too hot. Their receivers are going to be an absolute nightmare for that secondary to try and figure out how they're going to cover them. So it's going to be a close battle because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he'll keep it close for sure.
Team close. So I'm going to call this one 27-24 for Seattle.
Yeah, I got Seattle too, Neil. We both got an upset here. And mine's not out of hate for Green Bay. Even though I do hate Green Bay, but it's not. I've picked Green Bay plenty of times. I just think that Green Bay's kind of they just seem to this year and in the past couple of years seem to lose games that everyone tells them that they're going to win, right? Well, everyone's saying they should beat Seattle, which I don't know why everyone's saying that, because I don't know if anybody else has seen Seattle since Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll have been there. But I don't see how this is a for sure win like the analysts in Vegas is making it seem like it is. This is anything but a for sure win for Green Bay. And this game could go either way, but I think that Russell Wilson's going to do enough to win this game. And the reason that I don't think Rodgers is going to win this game is because of lack of weapons.
Yep.
And I don't think Rodgers is going to make a mistake to lose this game. I think his receivers are going to make a mistake to lose this game. Aaron Jones will play fine. Rodgers will play fine. His numbers may not be the best because of drop passes, but Rodgers himself will play fine. It's going to be cold. These receivers' hands are already bad, let alone getting hit with a football in the cold. Right? Like, there's nobody he can trust there besides one guy.
Yeah,
you know, they're going to double him the whole game. Pete Carroll's not an idiot. He knows. Jimmy Graham can't catch a cold, let alone a pass, okay? So, like, you don't have to worry about him.
Neither can them 18 receivers they drafted in
the
same year.
Geronimo Allison, bust. Valdez Scantling, bust. I can't name anybody else on that team.
Equinemius St. Brown,
bust. Well, he's hurt, I think, so I'll give him a slide. But
well, even when he was healthy, he had a chance to prove himself.
That's true. He did have a chance.
And he stunk the joint up worse than Scantling did.
Then you got what's that guy? Vaccaro or something like that, right? Bust. Like, I mean, they just got nothing. They got nothing for Rodgers, right? Their defense is better, right? So that's another reason why this game will stay close. Because, yeah, the receivers are a matchup nightmare, but they're not going to be able to run the ball. I know Marshawn Lynch will be more ready, but he's not going to run the ball in Green Bay. he might score from the 1. Like, I'm pretty sure if they get down to the goal line, he'll do his job there.
That's I guess more along the lines of what I meant. They get inside the 5. And then
Right.
Marshawn Lynch time.
But I mean, outside of that, he's not going to go anywhere. He's not fast anymore. So it's just not that he was ever super fast, anyways. But what speed he did have is gone. The defense is going to keep it close. Like I said, I just don't feel like those receivers are going to make a play for Rodgers when he needs it. And that's going to be the difference where Russell Wilson can throw it up with confidence that his guys are going to catch the ball.
Yep.
Especially Lockett. Because when he throws the ball to Lockett, it's completion.
Oh, and then the other guy that we hadn't mentioned from last week's game, or this cup game, is the tight end Jacob Hollister, who's come on.
Yep.
Basically from out of nowhere.
It's just another weapon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a big target. And he kind of reminds his style of player reminds me a lot of Kyle Rudolph. I combined Zach Ertz and Kyle Rudolph. But his style of player reminds me a lot of that. Great hands, good blocker. And then he can do some damage, especially in the red zone.
Right, I agree. I got Seattle 24-23. Very close. I think Russ leads them down for a game-winning field goal at the end of the game, and that's how I think it's gonna go. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, I'm not confident. If I had to do confidence points on all these games, this will be last.
Same here.
Because Aaron Rodgers I'm not comfortable with that.
Oh yeah, that's the same with me. You got the Aaron Rodgers factor. You don't know.
And Aaron Rodgers, as much as I hate him, like Stephen A. Smith would say, he's a bad man.
Yeah, he can, he can put the ball out there. If the receiver catches it or not, that's the whole entire story. And the time you're counting on them to not catch it, it'd be the time they catch it.
Right.
And take it to the house.
Yep, I agree. All right, well, thanks for joining me, Neil. Sorry we took a long time today, but a good thing we went in depth in the playoffs, so that's kind of good. So
appreciate you having me on. Sorry about my voice, guys, but we'll try and get better next week.
Can't help being sick, man.
Yeah.
So, all right, appreciate you guys.